Hey y'all, my name is Cassie and I am the creator of Pieces of Scrap, and in today's video we're going to be doing a combined market prep and market recap video. First off, I have everything ready to go to Fair on the Square tomorrow except my crochet kits. I filmed my tutorial videos for each of them, and then when I was about to get ready to edit them, I realized that some of them, the footage didn't get saved. I think it's because my battery was dying when I was recording them, and I also didn't record them in several different segments. I just recorded it all in one sitting, which means if anything was gonna go wrong, it was gonna go wrong with the entire video and I would lose it. So I only have like a minute of my baby root veggies tutorial video and my baby broccoli tutorial video from the first round that I recorded those. So I re-recorded those this week and I have just finished editing them. In today's video, I need to finish packing those crochet kits. So I need to put stuffing in each of the boxes, and I also need to print instructions and stickers, design those stickers, and put them on the boxes so that you know what's inside of them, and also so that they have those QR code links to each of the different resources that each kit provides. In each kit, I'm having 3 separate links. So there's a QR code that leads them to my Instagram where they can find the pattern if they want to see the pattern with photos. The second link is to the tutorial for that pattern itself, and then the third link is to a basics of crochet tutorial that I made so that they can understand different terminology, and it takes you through different stitches slowly and stuff like how you work in the round versus how you work in the row and so on, just so that you have a little bit more knowledge. That doesn't necessarily go into how you create the amigurumi plushies that my tutorial is for, but having a little bit more knowledge about crochet in general is always helpful. So I made that tutorial so that they could get a better understanding of different words that I use, how to hold the yarn, how you're supposed to work with your crochet hook, and so on. But yeah, with that being said, let's just go ahead and get into the video. Hey guys, so it is Monday now. My market was on Saturday and I have some recap things to tell you about, as well as just like some general things that I noticed and how it went and all sorts of stuff. So just to get started, I did extremely well at this market. This is actually the best market that I've ever had by far. I did about 2 times as much in sales as I have at my best market, so that is amazing. And just to get into a little bit of the specs of this market, it was in Huntsville, Texas, Fair on the Square. It's an annual event and there's over 300 vendors. I was talking to one of my vendor neighbors and she was saying that she thinks that it was about at 50% capacity of like customers coming as it was the prior year, and that she thinks it's probably just because of the economy, like people aren't wanting to spend as much money and that sort of thing, which was really helpful to know. So that kind of gauges my expectations for the next markets that are going to come up next weekend and then in 2 weekends after that weekend, as well as my Christmas and Crockett market in November. But anyway, it was a really, really awesome market. My booth was in one of the intersections, sort of in one of the intersections, and I actually had a corner booth. It wasn't actually a corner booth. It kind of just seemed like the business that I was stationed in front of was going to be open, and so there wasn't a booth space directly in front of that business, so I kind of had a corner booth. So it was really nice to do that. Because of that, I ended up pivoting my setup a little bit. I kind of just flip-flopped it, and then I moved my shelf so that it was just like at a 45-degree angle facing the rest of the products, so that they didn't have to you could see that shelf better from a straight on standpoint. And I think it attracted a lot of customers too, because I had all of my Loveys hanging off the side of that shelf and it was just a huge attention draw. But anyway, that one time that I went to the bathroom and I came back and I was like, oh my gosh, the Loveys, just like, they're so bright and pretty and colorful, and it really draws a lot of attention into the booth with them facing in that angle like they did, especially with us being a corner booth and having that one side like exposed. It drew a lot of people in, and it was actually funny. The market was set up so that there were vendors on either side of the street and there was this big walkway in the middle, and I would see people on the opposite side of the street from me looking at booths, and then they would beeline across the street to come to my booth, which was really, really encouraging to me that my setup was doing what it was supposed to be doing. It was drawing in customers and people were really excited for what I had to display there. So that was really awesome. But anyway, I had a lot of fun. It was it was a great market, and I actually did things a little bit differently. Instead of writing all of my transactions down on like an actual sheet of paper, I had my Excel sheet open the entire time and I was recording the purchases in there so that I could real time know how much I was making, and I could not worry about recording those later after the market. It saved me a lot of time. It saved me a lot of time after the market for reconciliation, but it also saved me a lot of time at the market, making sure I get all of the purchases down in the spreadsheet and making sure I'm not missing anything. And then I could also really easily select what product it was from the drop-down menu I have in my Excel sheet and record the price that they paid, how many of that item as well as the payment method that they used to pay me. And that actually helped out a lot because there were so many people in the area and it's sort of a small town. The cellular internet connection kind of got overwhelmed, and so at one point at the market I was like having the biggest issue processing payments, and it would process and then it would fail and then it would process again and it would fail. And at one point during the market I could not get a payment to go through, and it kind of confused the customer and made them a little bit concerned. They saw that it was pending on their end, but it wasn't on my end. And so I just took down her phone number and texted her after the event and told her, like, you know, if I don't see the payment go through and you don't see the payment go through, would you be comfortable just like Venmoing me it? And she said that was completely fine. And I ended up getting that payment through Venmo after the event because the payment never ended up going through. So that was really encouraging that I didn't lose out $40 over a plushie that she ended up purchasing from me and taking home. So yeah, that was really nice. I saw a lot of interest in my crochet kits, but I think I'm gonna need to provide a little bit more variety of what kind of plushies that I sell in those crochet kits. I think the broccoli boys will definitely be more popular than the kits that I have out now. The mushroom pattern was definitely more popular than the baby root veggie. I had only displayed baby root veggies and mushrooms, and I brought 4 of each of those kits, and I sold 2 of the mushrooms and 1 of the root veggies. So it was pretty good overall. I had a lot of interest where people didn't necessarily want to buy a plushie, but they wanted to get a kit so that they can do it themselves. So those were a success. That was really encouraging as well. And then finally, something else that was really helpful at this market was I had my 2 tables set up, and 1 table, I had everything on that table under $20, and I had a sign that said like, these plushies are $8, and then I think I need to get some more of those chalkboard signs so that in my $10 area, I can have a $10, and then just having signs as well that say like, everything on this table is above $20 and everything on this table is below $20. I think that will be helpful as well. I think it definitely helped me interact with customers a little bit, having to say that verbally every time, but I think there were definitely some customers who would pick up like one item and then they'd be like, okay, this is really expensive. Everything else must be really expensive, unless that they saw the $8 sign and then they were like, okay, my children, go over to the $8 section, you have $10, you're gonna spend something in that section instead of making me pay for something in this $20 plus section. So yeah, having signs is always really important. I need to get some more chalkboard signs, make more signs for my next market. So I'm gonna make sure that when I'm in town this week, that I go ahead and get some more chalkboard signs at the Dollar Tree and any loose end type things that I need before next market. But anyway, I wanted to get into what my best sellers were, what my total net profit and the fees and everything that I paid to be at this market, as well as to make the items and taxes and so on associated with those purchases. And I also want to talk to you about losses. So first up, we'll talk about losses. When I was reconciling my inventory, I'll go ahead and show you what I did. I ended up printing out a table where I have my product, the price of the product, the quantity I had before markets, quantity after markets, and then the sold number, because quantity before and after doesn't necessarily equate to I sold that many. It could mean that I miscounted inventory. It could mean that somebody stole something. And in 3 cases, I think that it meant that somebody stole something. So I'm going to point out each one of these things for you. So first up, we had my earrings. I didn't even have my earrings displayed at this market. And the one in particular that's in question is the single flower earrings. My husband did pull the earrings out at one point in the market because there was a little girl looking at my mystery boxes and she saw that some of them had earrings in them, but she didn't have enough for that specific box and she didn't want some of the other things that were in the mystery box. So she got one of the mystery boxes and then she wanted a pair of earrings. So my husband got out the inventory box and was showing her what I have. And she ended up buying one out of that box. And for some reason, I'm also missing one. So I have a feeling that means that I miscounted my inventory and I had one less than I thought I did. And it's actually very possible because in some of my mystery boxes, I put some of those single flower earrings. So it's possible that I forgot to remove that from square when I counted my inventory last time. Next up, we have the flower pins down here. This is definitely a miscount because at the beginning, before the market, I had 31 flower pins, and at the end of the market, I had 32, so I didn't make one in between that time. I just ended up having more than I thought I did, so that is a nice way to show that I definitely miscounted that product. And then again here, I have another possible miscount. It was my Mabel chickens. Before the market, I thought I had 27 chickens and I ended the market with 20, but I sold 8 chickens. So it's possible that it was a miscount, or I recorded one too many chickens in my transaction list than I actually sold. The first loss that I encountered is actually down here. It's one of my mini mallards. I sold 3 total and started with 11, so I should have had 8 left in my inventory when I came home, but I only have 7. So it's likely that one of those was stolen when I wasn't looking, which is very probable because I had my head down a lot of the time trying to make sure that I had all my transactions recorded in my spreadsheet. I really prioritized that so that I wouldn't have any missing transactions or anything like that. So I was trying to be on top of that as much as possible. And it is a very small item. My mini mallards, they're about this big. And so it is very possible that that actually got stolen. The next loss that I had was mini penguins. I started the market with 5, and when I came home, I only had 2 of them. I only had 2 recorded as being sold, so that means that I either miscounted my inventory or one of them was actually stolen, and those are even smaller than mini mallards. They're about this size, where mini mallards are a little taller. They're about that size. And so I think it's very probable that somebody stole that as well. And there were a couple suspects in my mind when I realized that there were things missing that shouldn't be missing. And I remember them returning to my booth multiple times. These people in particular that I'm thinking of, they came by 3 times total while I was there and never bought anything, which was definitely a red flag for me. So it makes me think that they came by one time just to scope things out. They left, they came back, they maybe stole something, and then they came back again because they weren't caught and they stole something again, is what I think happened personally. And then finally, my final loss, which is the big reason that this is a red flag, was a toddler bear hat. I didn't sell any of those at this market, and I had 6 of them to start with. I came home and I only have 5 of them. And these people in particular that I'm thinking of, one of them tried on a toddler bear hat, and she was like a college age adult, and she tried on one of my toddler bear hats and then put it back. But that makes me think that one of those times that she came back, she must have taken it with her when she left. So yeah, just keep an eye out. That's just a tip for you as a new market seller. If you're looking at doing this in the future yourself, just keep an eye out for return customers. It might be because they went to all the other market stalls and they didn't see anything that they liked and they came back because they liked your items. But if they're coming back more than 2 times, that might be a little bit suspicious. So just keep an eye out about what they're doing and talk to them a little bit more. It might get them feeling uncomfortable if they do plan to steal from you. If they feel like they're watching you and trying to get to know you better, they might feel a little bit more guilty about the prospect of stealing an item. So that's definitely something that I'm going to keep in the back of my mind in the future. I'm going to keep an eye out for return customers and just make sure that I'm talking with them a little bit more, maybe ask them how they're doing, how the day is going, if they saw anything else at other booths that piqued their interest, if they purchased anything today, if there's anything that I should keep an eye out for that they saw that they might purchase. Like, those types of questions come across really friendly and really genuine, and they are. Like, I genuinely would want to know those things, but it also acts as a tactic of keeping them focused on you and you keeping your attention focused on them in case there is a potential that they are trying to steal something. And also at the same time, if they feel like you're genuinely interested in connecting with them and getting their business because you're talking to them and trying to get to know them, they might actually end up purchasing something as well. So it's a double-edged sword, but in a good way, because you're deterring stealing as well as you're possibly buying their business. And then finally, the last thing that I noticed was I had 12 turtle shells for my build your own turtles at the beginning of the market, and I recorded that I sold 6 of them, but I have 5 left, which makes me think that it was either stolen or I had a miscount of some sort. I'm not completely sure what happened there, but it's not a huge deal. Those are actually like the cheapest thing that I sell, the turtle shells. They're $3 each, which is a really weird number, but it's just, it's a really cheap item, and I'm not really concerned about that loss. But finishing off this loss category, if we total up each of the items, I'm not counting that turtle shell in this because I'm not sure what happened there, but if we total up all of my losses, I only had $32 in losses, which is pretty good. They're all small items, and they were items that don't necessarily sell super well, so it's not a huge deal to me, but it is something that I need to be vigilant about in the future and keep an eye out to make sure that that doesn't keep happening. So I have 6 tiers of bestsellers here that I'm going to show you, and we're going to start off in the 6th place position. In the 6th place position, I had a tie between 3 different items. So first off, in the 6th place category, we have the Baby Fruit Friends keychains. My baby fruit keychains came in 3 different fruits. I had 2 blueberries, I also had 2 strawberries and 2 pineapples. The pineapples and the strawberries both sold out, and then I have 1 blueberry keychain left. So I sold 5 out of 6 of these guys, and I was selling them for $5 each. This is a free pattern that you can try from Instagram. It works up really quickly. I think all of them work up in under 15 minutes, so they're really quick makes, and they're just super cute little fruit faces. And I actually reviewed this pattern in one of my pattern review videos, so I'll definitely link that on the screen if you want to check that out as well. Next up, I have the Build Your Own Turtles. I was actually very pleasantly surprised that these were doing well at these markets because I've had them for 2 markets now, and neither of those markets they were doing very well, but I think the way that I displayed them was definitely probably the reason why they weren't selling well. They just got overlooked. So these Build Your Own Turtles, you can pick out whatever shell you want. You can get multiple shells if you want to. And the shells that were selling out the fastest were the shells that had patterns on them. So I made a bunch of them in Bloom Chenille by Premier Yarns, and those all sold out right away. So I have all of these solid color shells left over. I have 5 shells left over, and I have 4 turtles left over, so this is definitely something I'm gonna have to prep before my next markets. I was selling the turtle bodies for $10, and then each shell was $3, so you could get more than 1 shell if you wanted to. I had one customer specifically, they bought 2 turtles and 4 shells, so each of the turtles had 2 different shells that they could wear. And yeah, super good market make, works up really quickly. I can't quite remember how quickly they work up, but it's definitely under 45 minutes. They're really quick, and the shells work up even quicker. So just work up a bunch of turtle bodies and then a bunch of shells, and then definitely have more shells than turtle bodies because some people might want to get different turtle bodies so that they can dress their turtles differently. So yeah, this is another free pattern that you can get on Instagram. It is by Crochet, and I think most of her patterns are collaboration patterns, so it probably is. If it is, I'm going to make sure that I tag all of the correct people on screen with the pattern screenshot. And this pattern was also another one that I reviewed in my free pattern review series, so that video will also be linked on screen as well if you want to check that out. So next up in the number 6 position is scrunchies. I sold 5 scrunchies total, and I was selling each of these for $5 each. This one is my personal scrunchie, so that's why it looks a little raggedy. I was using it earlier today and my hair is just a little bit dirty, so that's why mine looks like this. But I was selling scrunchies for $5 each, and I sold 5 of them, so this is another good seller. I can't quite remember the pattern that I used to make these, but I think I kind of just whip them up just by crocheting around the hair tie itself, and I just create, it looks like I did, they're either treble crochets or they're double crochets, and you just make it until it's like bunched up enough and you're satisfied with what it looks like. And these work up in like under 15 minutes as well, so really quick makes, and they sell for pretty cheap. A lot of people were grabbing them, I think because they wanted to tie their hair up at the fair itself and they didn't bring a hair tie, so they just ended up purchasing one from me. All right, in 5th place, we had the Leggy Froggies, and I had these in a bunch of different fun colors. I have a few left, but I'm gonna need to make more before my next market. These are always really popular. I was selling them for $10 each, and I sold 6 of them total. In 4th place, we have Loveys. These were all Loveys I made from the Mama Made Minis amigurumi pattern book, as well as there was one Pikachu that I found on Instagram for free. I think it was featured in my last pattern review video, pattern review number 19, I believe. That'll be linked on screen. I was selling each of these Loveys for $35 each, and I displayed them off the side of my shelf, which I think was drawing tons and tons of attention to my booth because of all the different colors and all the cute little Loveys hanging there. And yeah, so I ended up selling 7 of these Loveys total, and I even got a custom order commission that somebody wanted to do. So she ended up taking one of my business cards and told me that she would reach out to make one of my Loveys into a mallard for her grandchildren. And she said she had multiple grandbabies coming, so I think that would be multiple Loveys that she would be ordering in the future. So that was really exciting. And yeah, they did very well. I'm gonna have to make some more before the end of the market season because I'm sure I will sell out before then. In 3rd place, we had the Mabel Chickens, and these I was selling for $16 each, and I had a bunch of different color options. I ended up selling 8 of them total, but I think the way that I was displaying them was obscuring them a little and people weren't seeing them right away. Otherwise, I'm sure I would have gotten more purchases of them. But yeah, Mabel chickens are never a surprise. They're super popular. Chickens in general are really popular. I did have some like mini Mabel chickens as keychains. I actually reviewed that pattern in a pattern review video in the past, and those all sold out. I only had 4 of them total, but I'm sure if I make a bunch of those in the future as well, those would also do really well. I was selling those for $5 each, had 4 total, and I sold out of them entirely. These Mabel chickens, I had, I think, 28 of them to start, and I ended up selling 8 of them total to end with 20 chickens. So yeah, I think these do really well, and they always do really well. And I will continue watching them climb the leaderboard or falling down the leaderboard. They've been a very popular pattern for a long time, so I'm always surprised when people still reach for them. I think it's just because they're so cute, and they are really attractive for all ages. Like I have like middle-aged women or elderly women, as well as like teenagers, college-age students, and children. It's like all ages, no matter who you are, you love Mabel chickens. I've even had men reaching for them, which is crazy. Everybody loves a Mabel chicken, so make sure you have some of those if you are stocking up for a market. All right, in 2nd place, we have the Mini Chubby Dino, and this is a pattern that I sell in 2 different sizes. This is the larger size. So this larger size I sell for $10. They take me about 25 minutes to work up. They're really quick and easy, maybe 30 minutes. I haven't really timed myself doing it in a while, but they work up really easily. And I have them in a smaller size, which is about probably that size, and I sell them for $8, but these $10 ones were selling like crazy. I sold 9 of these total, and I only had 1 left at the end of the market, and so I'm prepping a bunch of them now. I also just ordered a bunch more yarn from Premier Yarns because I think it's specifically because of these colors and the way that the yarn is kind of speckled. It looks a little bit more scaly than the solid color, and that's why I think they're more popular. So this is Gumdrop by Premier Yarns, and they come in cakes that have multicolored yarn in them. And what I do is I cut apart where the color changes are, and then I just make the solid color dinos. And when I have scrap yarn left over, I do like some multicolored ones. So some will have like 1 color head, and then the body will be a different color, or wherever the color change happens to happen. But yeah, it's perfect for making this size of mini chubby dino, and I feel like they love it. They just love these colors. They love the speckle on the yarn, and they're just like a lot brighter than the mini chubby dinos that I sell in the $8 range. And yeah, so it's no surprise that these did well. The first market that I did this year, they were selling out, and I had to make them at the market because people wanted them so badly. So yeah, it's no surprise to me that these do so well. This is a pattern that you can get on Instagram for free as well. It's a pattern by Nicole Crochets and Celestial CB Crochets. And I tested this pattern for them before it was released. So I'm so glad that this pattern is doing so well. It's completely no-sew. You don't have to sew anything. So yeah, another great pattern if you're looking for some new bestsellers to appear at your market. And then finally, our first place bestseller is the Chubby Froggy, and I had these in so many different colors. This is actually the least popular color that I had. I think I had 4 of each color, and I have 3 of these left total. But I sold 11 Chubby Froggies at my market, and I was selling them for $8 each. I sewed different expressions on them. I actually have a video of me prepping these Chubby Froggies for market, so if you're interested in what colors I was making them in, make sure you check out this video. And then yeah, I did different expressions on them. Some of them had little smiles, and then some of them had like grumpy expressions on them. It seemed like the grumpy expressions were a lot more popular than the smiles, which was really cool. But yeah, these were definitely bestsellers. I'm gonna have to make a bunch more of these. People were not a fan of this emerald color from Premier Yarns. I think it's just because you can't see the face as well. But the other colors that I was making these in was this foresty green color. It was by Himalayan Dolphin Baby Yarn. And then the other 3 colors I was making them in were in Premier Yarns colors. It was the key lime color, which is that bright green that they have, the mint color, and then the final color I already told you about. It was the Himalaya Dolphin Baby. And then this color, of course, emerald, but this was the least popular color out of all of the colors that I offered. So make sure you keep that in mind if you're prepping some Chubby Froggies for markets. This is another free pattern that you can get from Crochet, and it is a collaboration pattern, and all those collaborators will be on screen as well as the pattern photo. So yeah, make sure you check out that pattern if you're looking for another frog pattern to sell at markets. This was super, super popular. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the numbers. At the end of the market, I had a gross sales amount of $2,277. I paid $300 to be at this market, so let's take that out of there. And then if we factor in how much I paid in materials, taxes, and fees, as well as that booth fee, it was about $881. And so we'll take that out of the gross amount, and I netted $1,395.95 in net profits. So it was a very, very, very successful market, and I'm already gearing up for my next market, which is this Saturday. And I just have a lot of things that I need to get prepped for it, mostly little things that you're seeing back here behind me, so that I have a good amount of stock for that market. I think mostly what I'm prioritizing right now is my mini chubby dinos, and then when I finish off the leftover gumdrop yarn that I have left, I'm going to start working on keychains. I have a lot of different keychains that were doing really well, but I didn't have a lot of. But I think if I make more of those and have just plenty of restocking potential for my keychains, I think those will potentially be a bestseller as well because of the price point and just because everybody can use a keychain. So yeah, I'm gonna prep frog keychains, bear keychains, chicken keychains, and then I might do some other kinds of keychains, but I'm gonna prioritize those 3 first. I've already put in another yarn order from Premier Yarns. I'm going to order more of the gumdrop skeins. I also ordered some of they have a new kind of chenille yarn. It's a little bit bigger than Premier Parfait. It's called, I think it's just called Fruit. I can't quite remember the name of it, but I'm going to try one of those colorways. They had a great orange color that I think would be great for like Halloween things, as well as just like anything orange in particular. I'm always looking for a good orange. There's not many oranges in Premier Parfait, their color range there. And in addition to that, I ordered a bunch more of Premier Parfait Chunky as well. Lots of white because I'm always running out of white. And I also ordered a lot more colors that I think will do well and that I'm running out of. And then finally, I also ordered more safety eyes. I finally got around to ordering some oval safety eyes, and most excited about the fact that I finally ordered myself a vlogging camera. I ended up ordering the Sony ZV-E10, I believe, and I'll put a picture of that on screen. I'm ordering that. I saved up the money from this market so that I could buy a vlogging camera and have a dedicated camera to recording videos for my channel. Right now, what I'm recording on is actually my phone. I use a Google Pixel 6 Pro, and it has a pretty decent camera. It's just I'm always running out of storage space on my phone, and it's just nice to have a separate device dedicated to recording videos and to my channel specifically, so that I don't have to worry about losing space on my phone to YouTube channel specific content. And that way I can also get better quality videos, audio, all that sort of thing, so that you guys can enjoy these YouTube videos a little bit more than you already do. But anyway, with that being said, that is all I have for today's video. And if you liked this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. So yeah, that is all I have. That is all I have for today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a thumbs up and comment down below what you're working on. If you're working on things for yourself, for gifts, if you're working on market prepping, that sort of thing, anything that you want to share in the comments. If you have any questions, anything like that, feel free to drop those comments in the comment section, and I will make sure that I reply to every single one of you. And yeah, if you guys enjoy my content and you want to see more in the future, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you hit the bell notification button right next to it, you will be notified every single time I post a new video on YouTube. So with that all being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!